Assalamu alaikum. Now, in the previous slides, we discussed about those two individuals who claimed to be prophet during the lifetime of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now, we have previously talked about an hadith which mentioned about 30 liars who would claim to be prophet. Now, these 30 refers to those individuals whose fitna sedition will spread more and cause a lot of damage. Now, one such fitna or sedition also came in Indo-Pak subcontinent. Now, before talking about it in detail, we will talk about its background. Now, during and after the War of Independence of 1857, the British thought that ever since they have came to the subcontinent, they have been facing continuous rebellion, and they thought that the source of this rebellion or the war of independence of 1857 was Muslims. However, there were other people of other religions and areas were also responsible for that war, but they thought that Muslims were the main culprit. They were responsible for trying to eliminate their government. So the British tried their best to undermine Muslims, to subdue Muslims. Now in 1871, the viceroy of subcontinent was Lord Mayo. Now he asked a question to an officer of Bengal Civil Service whose name was William Wilson Hunter or W. Hunter. He asked him whether the Indian Muslims are bound by the religion to rebel against the Queen. So Hunter, in his response to this question, wrote a book titled "The Indian Muslimans Are They Bound in Conscience to Rebel Against the Queen?" Hunter wrote this book in a short period of time. He analyzed the various tenets of Islam, beliefs of Islamic creed, especially jihad, the belief of the coming of the Masih and Mahdi in various sects of Islam, the concept of the land of India being Darul Harb, and the rulings of various scholars of Islam with this regard. The Wahhabi movement, the beliefs of the different sects of Islam, and the possible threats they could pose on the establishment of British rule in India. Now, he published this book in the same year, 1871. In this book, he clearly said that this belief of jihad is the focal point of the Muslims, and would always push them to fight against the British government. Now he has written the following sentence about the jihad and the Muslims. He said in his book, "It is the vision of the jihad that is the foundation of their extreme vigor, fanaticism, violence, and desire for sacrifice. This kind of belief can always continue to unite them about the government." So the British Empire wanted to eliminate this threat to their rule by diverting Muslims of the subcontinent. Now, when the real problem was identified by the British government, they made efforts to solve this issue. All the efforts to solve the problem ended at this point that a panel was formed which included senior pastors and people from the administration. The panel presented a report, put forth the solution to the problem. Now, this report, the report of Missionary Fathers, has been taken from the India Office Library, London. Now, this report presented a solution. The solution was that the British government should find a person among the Muslims who shall make a false claim to be a Zilli Nabi, which is in fact a belief taken from the Jews. Now, what would be the benefit for the British government? Number one, the one who will claim to be a Zili Nabi will announce the restriction of Qital, and the person who accepts this ruling will deny Qital, jihad. Point number two, the person who denies Qital will lose faith in his heart because Qital is the basic belief of Islam. Point number three, the person whose faith will go away, the love of the Prophet ﷺ will also go away from his heart. Now, when you take any belief out of Muslims, the belief itself will go away, but also will cause a damage to the love and respect for the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. The person whom the British appointed for this purpose was Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani. In order to understand this sedition fitna more, it's important we should know about this person as well. We will talk about him in the next recordings and slides.